So I got on my social media today, man, and I had to point this out and talk about it a little bit so much that I had to make its own video, I think, because I think it's important. We're going to get on here, we're going to discuss it here, man. Look at the new upcoming Ultimate Edition Series number 28. Bobby, what the hell am I talking about? Who the hell is Bobby? Uncle Howdy, man. It's Uncle Howdy. Ultimate Edition Series 28, Uncle Howdy. I think I was thinking of saying Bo, but then I was thinking Bray, and then it came out Bobby. Who the hell cares? Look at this figure, man. What we're looking at here is the new Ultimate Edition upcoming. Oh my god. This is the new Ultimate Edition Uncle Howdy here, and I don't know, man. To me, something about it looks a little off, and we can discuss it here, and we can talk about it a little bit here. As you can see, man, we have an image, or this is a video that Steve posted of the Ultimate Edition here. He's got the long trench coat on. This is going to be an Ultimate Edition that is going to feature the interchangeable arm feature, so this is something we have seen on many Ultimates over the years. Bret Hart has had this, Edge has had this, there's plenty more, right? Ronda Rousey has had that. There's a ton of different Ultimate Editions that have featured the removable arms with the jacket. Even the Fiend Bray Wyatt came with this. But if you look at this figure at certain angles, it looks like it has some of the same continuous issues that we have seen for a little bit now, and one thing specifically is my buddy Cody over here. He uploaded this to his story, and he said, how can Mattel design this and be like, yeah, it looks great, and it is this steel screen grab. And this is actually of the Uncle Howdy Ultimate Edition, and it's from the video that Steve shared. And what I'm getting at, like when you look at it here without the jacket on, I think you're getting into a very similar situation that we saw with the John Cena Ultimate Edition. It's a very similar thing that we saw with the Ultimate Edition Eddie Guerrero from the Ruthless Aggression era. You know, the Shreddy Guerrero, the gigantic, weird proportion. He almost looks like that Giga Chad meme or whatever the hell it is, where the guy's got the crazy jawline and like the 20-pack and all that. That is what the Eddie Guerrero, the Shreddy Guerrero Ultimate Edition figure, that is a figure that I've marked as one of the, I think that was one of the worst Ultimate Editions of that particular year, because it's the proportions that just make it look crazy. Like, look at the crotch and the thighs, and then you look at the shoulders of this Ultimate and how they poke out and stuff. And I think that some people were commenting on this specific Uncle Howdy. I don't know why the hell, like, my mind goes blank when I try to say his name because I'm thinking of 4 different names at one time. But this Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy figure, people were talking about the arm sculpt because it does look like this is a brand new arm sculpt. You know, the arm sculpt that we've talked about for years and years that we've wanted Mattel to make. You know, this is the Kevin Owens arm mold or the Mankind arm mold. You know how they always give them the super jacked arms for no reason. This is something we've talked about for years. Guys, we need it. And I've plugged it in my reviews for a very long time. We've discussed, I know I've discussed this at multiple instances. This is something we've plugged. It does look like this figure, this new Ultimate Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy, is featuring a brand new arm mold, which is a good thing. And I think it's a new arm mold, I think, off of this video. Now, I don't have the figure in hand. I can't tell you that right off rip. But this Ultimate Edition Uncle Howdy, on the arms, it does look new. But the shoulders do look like they're facing the same issues that we saw on the CM Punk Ultimate Edition. Look how far they stick out. So this is something that we talked about with the straight edge CM Punk, or not the straight edge CM, it is a straight edge CM Punk, but the Mattel Creations one, right, with the ECW Championship. This is one we reviewed, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago, something like that. It looks like it has that same issue where the shoulders are way too wide, and it just gives the Ultimate Edition figure a very weird aesthetic. It is something that, I don't know, it is just something that is off to me. When I look at it, it doesn't look natural. It looks very weird, and of course it could just be the video. Maybe the, you know, this specific screen grab. This is like saying, okay, you take a specific screen grab from any video, it can make a figure look weird. I completely agree with that. I know where you're coming from. It makes sense to me, but I will say that this video was a little worrisome in some ways, but at the same time, the figure does look damn good. There's some excellent parts of this figure that I'm looking forward to. I think that all the head sculpts they showed off right here look really good. I think the jacket, when you put the jacket on there, it does look like, I don't know, when the jacket arms are on there and he's standing there, it does look like he's kind of, I don't know, man, you ever see a really jacked dude with a tight long sleeve on? That is kind of what it looks like. It looks like this, it looks like Bo Dallas is absolutely just freaking yoked, which I know he is a bigger individual. He has gotten, you know, he's put on some weight over the years. He's gotten in the gym, whatever. But I can see where people are coming from. I think that the figure looks really good at certain aspects, and then in other ways, it looks a bit weird. I will say also, the figure looks super posable. I think the head sculpts look good, like we talked about. I really like the wrist gauntlet. To be a almost solid black figure, which could be controversial in some ways, you know, you look at that and may think, oh, this figure is not very detailed. It looks like it holds a lot of detail, and it looks pretty damn good to be a solid black figure for the most part, which is a really good sign. And again, the head sculpts look really good. But this is the, he did this with the Tiffany Stratton figure, and the Tiffany Stratton figure I didn't feel this way about at all. I think the Tiffany Stratton video that we talked about just the other day looked damn good, man. And it's crazy how, we usually use these images, and we don't typically have in-hand video looks like this at the figures. This is something that he started doing in the last month or so, and I think this is epic for, kind of thinking about these figures or getting hyped about these figures or giving us a better idea of how these figures are going to look, because you're getting a video look instead of the traditional, photos and stuff like that. And the photos can also be wrong, right? Like that Eddie Guerrero, you look at certain positionings of the figure and you're like, man, dude, this guy's completely cooked. There's no damn way this figure is going to look good. Then you get a figure in hand, you're like, oh man, this is actually much better than I anticipated. Take the Jacob Fatu, for example, from Elite Series 118. We thought that figure was going to be miserable. Get that figure in hand, it's actually pretty damn solid. So I think that, it is what it is. It's going to be the same way with the video. You can't make everything out over this 25-second clip. But I will say that the Uncle Howdy is a little worrisome because of those proportion issues. This is some of the things that we've talked about over the years, and I don't know what it is about the shoulders sticking out, but that is a problem that has to be fixed. I think the shoulders have to be fixated. They have to be sit inside the torso like a traditional deal. And I think that, it's not something that we point out all the time, but I think when it's there, it's noticeable. And it reminds me of Elite 50 Rhino. Not to that extent. I'm not saying that this figure looks like that or whatever, but it does remind me a little bit of that Eddie Guerrero. And speaking of Eddie Guerrero, we do have a video of him. We have a video of the new Eddie Guerrero figure that we saw on display at WrestleMania in the purple. Great looking figure. I think the skin tone looks fantastic. I think the tights look super crispy, look very clean. Boots look very clean. But I will say, this figure, the issue I have with this figure is they are using the smaller shoulders and arms, and I think that's hilarious because we just got on here and we're crapping on the Shreddy Guerrero, and then we get on here and we crap on the new one. But I will say I like this torso a lot. We saw this torso on the Monday Night Wars version of Eddie Guerrero, the WCW version with the black and gold. That was an excellent figure, and I feel like they probably could have made that figure a little bit more jacked, but I understood it more with the WCW version. With this Ruthless Aggression version, I think that they could probably, I don't know, man. I think he was bigger, and I don't hate this torso, and I think that it's one of those things where you do have to kind of walk a thin line. I think I would rather him have the skinnier arms than the ultra jack crazy arms, I think, but at the same time, it just gets into a weird thing, and I know you have to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of when you're making exclusive, you have to make a figure that's sought after, but not too sought after, you know what I mean? I feel like, they probably could have designed something better, but I mean, from the crotch down, it makes a lot of sense. They didn't change really anything there, but then they brought the torso and arms down because we all complained about the arms and the torso being way too jacked, even though that, I can't stand that. That Ultimate Warrior Ultimate Edition torso that we talked about, that goes on Cena, that goes on the Shreddy Guerrero, that has been on these other Ultimate Editions. It only works for a handful of people. I've talked about that before. It only works on guys like Batista, Bobby Lashley, guys like that. And even then, I'm not a big fan of the torso. My buddy Jesus one time said that it looks like Buzz Lightyear, and I can never get that comparison out of my brain now. How the Ultimate Edition torsos look, how they have that ultra chunky part on the top, and then it kind of looks like Buzz Lightyear a little bit, and I thought that was hilarious. So that is something that I've burned into my brain now. I am using that comparison from now on when I'm trying to explain that look, but I don't know. I think that this Ultimate Wave looks solid for the most part, and I think that it would be interesting to hear what you guys have to say down below about the Bo Dallas Uncle Howdy, because I think that it looks really, really good, and it could be one of those scenarios where we get it in hand and we're actually blown away by the figure. It's happened a lot. I have been wrong on a figure before, and not that aesthetically it looks bad, because I think it looks really good in certain aspects, but then you put on those regular arms, and there's something there that is throwing me off, and I can't tell if it's proportions. Do the shoulders stick out too far? There's some different things going on there that, we have to unpack, but I don't know. I'm also liking the details in the crotch and the pants. The kind of, it's like a plaid sort of pattern almost that's going down on the pants. Looks really, really good. And I guess we can't really judge it fully until we, get into it there. And one little thing that I do want to note here at the end, because we haven't made any news videos on it, with the return of AJ Lee is definitely going to get a new figure. It'll probably have her return. whenever her first matchup is. They'll probably get that gear. They'll probably do a greatest hits version of some of her other elites, and I guarantee that Kane unreleased AJ Lee figure from back in the day, I guarantee they get around to releasing that. I think this is something we've seen over the years. Figure gets canceled, you don't know about it, and then they turn around and release the figure anyway at a certain point. I think that is something we're going to get out of this AJ Lee. So I think AJ Lee, we're going to get her figures in elite form. We're going to get an ultimate at some kind. Maybe they do some sort of package deal with CM Punk. Maybe, hell, they may even do her return, like an Ultimate Edition Punk and AJ Lee, or an Elite 2-pack at that moment. I can see that. They could probably do something like that, but let me know what you think of that. What AJ Lee do you want to see re-released? There are some great ones that could be upgraded in different ways, especially with the double jointed arms. I bet they're going to pose fantastic. Hopefully they, redo her boots, because, she has those basic boots from back in the day. So, I don't know. She needs the special treatment, man. They could really make a really damn good AJ Lee. And her other figures were really good for the time being. A lot of people probably argue that her elites and her figures from back in the day are probably some of the better women's figures of the time. I mean, they were way ahead of their time in terms of feel and hand and posability. So you can let me know what you know about that. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about the Uncle Howdy a little bit. I almost uploaded this yesterday, but I ran out of time, and then it got too late in the day. So I did want to talk about this a little bit, man. But let me know what you think. Uncle Howdy, is it a bust? Is it a cop? You can let me know. And, of course, this wave should be hitting any day now from Ringside Collectibles. And when it hits, we're going to get on here. We're going to do in-depth reviews of all three of them. Eddie Guerrero, the Tiffany Stratton, the Uncle Howdy. We're going to do a comparison with Bray. We're going to do a comparison with that Shreddy Guerrero, that CM Punk, see how those shoulders stick out and stuff. But maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I wanted to make a video on it anyways. But nonetheless, man, that's pretty much going to wrap it for today's news-style video. I appreciate you guys so very much, man. A huge shout out to our Patreon members. Thank you guys so very much for the continued support as always. But I'm getting the hell out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.